Greetings to everybody tuning in to watch this sometime in the future. I am glad you're here. Whether you're completely new to the channel or if you're a returning viewer who perhaps has watched an episode in the past, or perhaps have been following along for the whole series, I welcome you for some casual hardcore Minecraft in the Prologue world. The world before the beginning, in which I'm still working on initializing this channel and getting things going. I'm still very early in the game. The objective here is to try to record the entire process of working towards day 100 and then beyond. I mean, I still haven't made it to day 100 yet. I'm on my 6th freaking attempt at trying to get to day 100 in hardcore Minecraft. And in today's episode, I'm going to actually be talking to you a good bunch. That's the other thing I like to do in this channel. I'm trying to see in the long run. I want to make this into a philosophy channel, because there's going to be a lot of parts of the game in which I end up just doing mundane, repetitive tasks, such as digging dirt, which is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be flattening out this hill over here, this precipice, to build a house over here, hopefully in the next episode. And in those moments, those are the times that are just excellent for just talking to you guys about whatever I have on my mind. So in today's episode, I actually want to go over. I want to give you a brief synopsis. I just kind of want to dive into the topics that I most like to talk about, just so that because there are a couple of people from a couple of episodes ago who seem to have subscribed, who told me in the comments that they were really looking forward to that intellectual content. They really like to just watch a person talking about life and about what they make of the world, and that's what they're in for. And that's frankly what the whole point of the channel. Like, in the long run, that's going to be the point of the channel. I'm trying to create a stable Minecraft world from which I can then talk to you guys about all kinds of things. So today I kind of wanted to jump into that and give you guys a preview, a solid preview, so that you guys aren't feeling like I'm stringing you along. And I'm going to be mostly digging dirt, and then I'm going to fill in this cave here, this crevice, and the trees. And I'm probably going to chop down a few more trees too, just to expand the area a little bit more. All right, anyways. Before I get to all of that, though, I gotta fix this furnace problem. I botched this terribly last episode. You see, I was trying to burn 5 blocks of sand in the most efficient manner by using oak saplings instead of a whole 1 charcoal. I was trying to avoid wasting the precious burn time after a full 1 block of charcoal, because if you use one charcoal, will burn 8 blocks of things, right? But then I forgot to actually take the glass out of the output box, so it still only produced 1 full stack, and still didn't actually burn through the extra 5 blocks of sand. So I still ended up wasting some precious burn time. And then I felt terrible about that. I mean, it's just saplings. I just wasted some saplings. It's not really a big deal. It's just it's hilarious to me that I get frustrated about things like that, but I do, and I figured that was I really wanted to telegraph my mistakes to you, so that you can. But this is I like to. I'm trying to capture the authentic experience of what Minecraft is really like. And that's kind of part of the game, at least for a person that's as meticulous as I am when they play this game. I'm extremely meticulous when I play this game. All right, let's get into the dirt. I only have so much time left. I need more shovels. I think I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more shovels. And I'm gonna need to. Let's not do the same mistake a second time. This time I'm just gonna put the whole stack in there. Alright, and I can drop this glass off for now. I don't need it for now. For the time being, I don't need it. And I don't really need all of this wood either. For now, I'm gonna be digging dirt, and I'm gonna need some more shovels. I'm gonna need like at least 2 more shovels, probably more than that. I'm probably gonna end up needing 3 extra shovels. And I'm carrying a bed in my main hand. Okay. There we go. All right. We're all ready, all set to dig dirt. And this episode is going to have to be brief. I went on for way too long in the last episode. I went on for a 4th day, accidentally went on for a 4th day. And so this episode, I'm only going to have the rest of this day and then 1 more day. So I really gotta get into the action. Here we go. Dirt digging action. This is my favorite thing to do in Minecraft, by the way. If you guys are new to the channel and you're not recurrent viewers from previous series in which I've talked about this, how this is actually my favorite part of Minecraft, just digging dirt. I find this just extremely soothing and relaxing, and I love doing this. But I also have things to say. All right, let's get into the synopsis. All right, so the thing that I'm most excited to talk to you guys about in the long run. Okay, there's kind of one thing in particular that I kind of view as the framework to everything else. Because I have a proudly ignorant opinion about just about everything. I can basically talk to you guys about whatever is going on. Essentially, in the long run, I'll just be making commentary on whatever the heck is going on, and whatever's on my mind in the present. But I kind of see everything from the perspective from the framework of this one subject that's kind of my brainchild. That I would actually really like to eventually write a book about. I want to write a philosophy book about this topic. This topic that I lovingly refer to as tribe revival. All right. And it's probably not the first thing that it makes you think of upon hearing that word, that term, that phrase, but it's probably the second thing that you think of from hearing that phrase, or maybe the third. So it's something that occurred to me that I haven't come across from doing research. It's something that occurred to me just from thinking about it. So I consider it to be mine, to be uniquely mine, to be something that I came up with. Although I don't know if other thinkers have also come up with the same thing. I don't feel like I've done a sufficient amount of research on the matter. But there's this thing that I call tribe revival that I came up with, that I might have, that independently I came up with just from thinking about the world. And the basic premise, it's not the first thing that people think of. I think the first thing that people think of when they hear that is that I'm talking about intentional communities. I'm talking about forming a group of friends that like each other a lot, that like to... I'm still carrying the bed in my hand. I mean, I like to keep this slot open, just because sometimes I like to just switch to not having to carry anything in my main hand. I like to do that. I also don't really like to carry my shield around most of the time, but I still feel like since this is a hardcore mode world, I want to feel a little bit safer, and I'm still... I don't have blast protection yet, so I'm still carrying my shield around. But anyways, that's beside I'm talking about tribe revival here. I'm getting carried away on a tangent. Let's not do that. Tribe revival. So the first thing that people think of is intentional communities, right? I'm talking about wanting to form a group of friends that want to work together and live together in harmony with each other. I already went through 2 shovels, shovel and a half or so. Yeah, I'm gonna need more shovels, a lot more shovels actually. But anyways, that's actually okay. So that's not what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is actually a tribe of relatives. I'm talking about a small group of relatives that would want to live together in harmony and create basically an intentional community of relatives. And I really think that I have high hopes for this theory. I think that would essentially just solve all of the problems of the world. And I'm a big fan of the idea, and it really kind of vitalizes me. And It's what I'm all about. So, but I want to talk more about why I think this is a big deal. Why is this a big deal to me? I might have to freaking fill this thing in before I move forward, just because I don't like it how the I'm having to go down into it to collect these precious dirt blocks. So, why do I? What do I have in mind specifically? Why do I think this is such a big deal and such a revolutionary concept? So the initial premise, the way I came came around to thinking of the idea, is that I was thinking about the primordial setting, the setting that we evolved with, right? The social setting that humanity has evolved with. And I'm imagining that the prehistoric setting was that of having to survive in well, I guess fairly small by our standards, small groups of relatives. Presumably, there's this number called the Dunbar number, and it's about like 130 people or so, and there's this guy called something Dunbar was his last name, and he developed this theory that our brains are good at keeping track of being in touch with, of being connected with a group of people that's about 130 people or so like a small village in size. And I would guess that's approximately the size of the tribe that we presumably had evolved with in prehistory. And presumably, and these are all speculations, right? So we don't really know these things for a fact because we weren't there in prehistory to see it. I'm gonna need a chest to start dropping off this dirt, because I'm gonna end up with a lot of dirt over here. I'm thinking of building a chest. Let's just build a chest right here real quick, just for the dirt. So in the prehistoric setting that we evolved with, that our brains are used to, that our brains are biologically tuned for, we evolved in the setting of living, of surviving within a group of relatives, of people that we're related to, that we know very well, that we live with and work with for our entire lives. I need more shovels. And I forgot to drop off the dirt. That was the whole point of the chest. Let's do that, drop off the dirt, and make more shovels, and I need more shovels. And it's already halfway through the day. So that's what we evolved with. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's exactly what is missing from the modern world. That's the missing part, the missing component from our lives. That's what's missing in our lives. That's what we don't have in our lives. Because in the modern world, at least in the Western world, I think actually in Eastern traditions, people still really like to do this. People still really like to form large families and really value family affiliation. So there might be Eastern philosophy that is on the same page, that is about this that talks about this kind of stuff. All right, I want to go one more layer down. Dig down one more layer. I might not have enough time in this freaking day. God damn it. I really want to get this done, though. I thought that I was going to have enough time in one and a half days to complete the dirt shoveling. If I don't have enough time, gosh darn it, I might have to go on for a whole nother day and make this a 3-day episode after all, just because I want to complete this task. And I'm still not done talking about this subject. This subject is very dear to me, and it's basically what I'm all about, and you'll be hearing a lot more about this throughout this series, throughout for the entire, for as long as I'm on YouTube. This is what I'm on YouTube for. I mean, this is the point of the channel, is to promote this topic, to promulgate this theory of tribe revival. I call myself a tribe revivalist. But the idea, the concept is that in the modern setting, I think it's possible, it's conceivable to restore, to revive that prehistoric setting in the modern world, of where we value our living with our family members more than, say, moving to another city for the sake of making more money. I want to make the case that it's more valuable to remain in your hometown, Heck, remain in the same block, in the same city block with your parents, with your relatives. Now, of course, the most common contention with that everybody immediately jumps to is that, well, I don't really like all of my relatives. Why would I? It seems like it would be very hard to get along with my family members. And yes, and this is a very fair point of criticism, and I'm going to I can go on for a long time trying to address this. I believe that with a strong set of principles, with an intuitive set of principles, that I also have thoughts on. I have a value system that I'm going to share with you as we get to know each other better. But with a certain kind of value system, I think it would actually not be difficult to cultivate a large family in which everybody gets along fairly well and likes each other a lot. And I think we're really missing out on that, right? And I think that's actually the root of all of the world's problems. It's all of the mental health problems, for sure. Like we just don't have that sense of familial belonging that our brains are used to, and that, I think, is the root of all of the existential dread that the Western world lives with, and that's what's missing. And I think that's what we ought to work towards reviving and do everything we can to try to recreate the prehistoric social setting, right? And the way that you would go about doing this, I mean, it's kind of the traditional, intentional community kind of method. You end up purchasing adjacent property. You end up starting with your own house. Just purchase a house. Anyhow, it doesn't have to be in the countryside. It could be in the city. It doesn't really matter. But the idea is that you would purchase adjacent property that you would then, either invite relatives from your current generation, or from a couple steps removed from your cousins, perhaps, or sisters and brothers. Really, I believe really ought to stick with each other, but cousins, but beyond that, like, if you don't have, like, I don't have sisters or brothers, and my cousins are in another country, so I'm the best thing I could do is have kids and try to raise my kids to cherish these same values and to want to pass on these values to their kids. So for me, tribe revival translates into the aspiration to eventually purchase the adjacent house for my kids and have my kids just live along with me and my wife, my future wife that I still don't have. But I have very long-term plans, and I have no idea if I'll actually be able to accomplish that. It very well may be that I'm going to completely fail at life and never have kids. But at the very least, I want to write this book so that perhaps other people can pull this off, right? Anyways, that's a topic for another episode. Gosh, I really want to go on for like one more day just to complete this, because I feel like I'll get there. I feel like I'm getting close, and I'll be able to do this in one more day. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for one more day, guys. Even though we're heading into day 31 now, but that's all right. I'm just going to be one day ahead. Perhaps the next episode I'll make it up to you and make a short episode in the next episode. I really want to give this topic. Well, and I want to finish what I'm doing. I don't like to have to stop, to have to pause during the tasks that I'm occupied with. What am I trying to do? I wanted to drop off more dirt into this chest. That's what I'm trying to do. And then I'll probably need another shovel. Yeah. I always end up underestimating how many shovels I need. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm all about. That's my biggest talking point, and I'll be revisiting this subject many times, because I seriously think that this would solve all of the world's problems. Because here's the thing: if everybody had their family to take care of them, we wouldn't have there wouldn't be the catastrophe of people who rely on their government for support. You would have your family to support you. So you would, I think it would solve the poverty problem, because you would cherish, people would, family members would step up to help you out. That's how it should be, right? In the modern world, like, people just don't feel like they're obligated to help out their family members. And I think that's unfortunate, because if you can't even rely on your family members to help you out, then who do you have? Then there's no, because why would strangers? Why is it fair? Why do we consider it fair for strangers to pay taxes to help you, to then subsidize you, when your family members aren't even willing to subsidize you? So yeah, so this just translates. The implications of that are a kind of, like, I have very high standards for parenting, for even having kids to begin with. I think that it's important to have high standards for yourself in terms of financial security before you even have kids, because I do believe that as relatives, as parents, we have an obligation to our children primarily. I believe that to be the most important thing in our lives. We should consider that the point of our lives. We should feel like we're living for the sake of our kids' futures, and we should really care a lot more about making sure that our kids are successful, even as they grow up. Like, I hate this boomer conception of this conservative self-reliance that we're used to in the Western world, in which once you reach a certain age, you're on your own, and you're expected to not need help from your parents anymore. I'm opposed to that. So in that sense, I'm kind of opposed to some conservative ideals. Like, I do, like, I'm opposed to self-reliance. I think that self-reliance is kind of a superficial flex. Like, for some people, some people will grow up and be very good at what they're doing, but that also relies a lot on your upbringing. So people that grew up in healthy households are going to be a lot more self-reliant than people that grew up in very difficult conditions. Because that affects the way you grow up. That affects your psychology. When you reach adulthood, you might end up needing more from your relatives because of that. So the people that need help the most, end up being the people whose parents have the least to provide them with, which is very unfortunate. But also, like, all right, so that's the first thing. That's the biggest topic that I like to talk about. There's so much more. All right, probably the second biggest topic that I like to talk about, and this relates to this subject. Everything is interrelated, of course. But the second biggest thing that I like to talk about is determinism. Which is the philosophical perspective that we do not have free will, that the world is predetermined, or perhaps there is kind of the version of determinism in which, well, it might be that there's some randomness, that it's not predetermined, but there's randomness in it, but still there's no free will. So that's kind of the base level, the most basic component of determinism, is that we do not have free will on a fundamental level. And this is something that I have the highest level of confidence in. So this to me is something that's just a matter, that's something that's logically derivable, that you can derive determinism from just thinking about it. It doesn't require proof, because here's the thing, guys, because for anything to happen, everything that happens, that always bums me out a little when it starts raining. For everything, all of the things that happen in the world, every action, every event, everything that happens for a reason. It is caused by something, or it is just completely random. It is either caused by something, or it's completely random. And those are the only logical possibilities, or intuitive possibilities. Perhaps we're missing something. Perhaps I'm missing something. There is that possibility. I'm a big proponent of intellectual humility and always being aware that you might be wrong. So that's actually my first value, the thing that I value the very most in life, what I refer to as uncertainty. I value uncertainty. And what I mean by that, that's actually the implication of intellectual humility, is that we cannot be... I keep coming back to this chest. I already formed a habit. It's a habit for me. It's a habit forming chest. I meant to come back to this chest, drop off more dirt. So, what was I saying? There's, as far as we can tell, those are the only two. Those are the only two options. Everything has to either be caused by something, or it was random. It was completely random. Which I would say, like, it's counterintuitive for me for anything to even be random. I would say that everything is within a chain of causation, and there is no such thing as randomness in the universe. Even randomness to me is extremely unintuitive. I heard a zombie. It is extremely unintuitive. That's why I'm holding a shield. That's why I have my shield equipped. Even randomness is extremely unintuitive. But free will, it really, to me, it completely doesn't make any sense at all. When you think about how you might describe free will, what sets free will apart from causation, how is it different from causation? You will run into a brick wall. You will not be able to even come up with a clear definition of free will, a clear understanding of what that is. You won't be able to, what is it? What the heck do we mean by free will? That we're in control? But the thing is, the decisions that we make them because of reasons. We have reasons to why we make the choices. Even if those reasons are just feelings. I keep coming back to this chest again. Even if that's just feelings. Oh, that's it, I'm done. I leveled the terrain. Alright, well, I did the thing that I wanted to do. Okay, now the next step is to fill in the crevice, the crack cave. So I wanted to briefly talk about the crack cave too. So those are the two kind of the main topics that I want to talk about, and I'll be returning to these topics many times. I want to talk about determinism, the implications of determinism. Right, the biggest implication of determinism is radical leniency. Right, that means that we can't really, we shouldn't be punishing criminals, for example. Like, I think it's fair and it's entirely legit to confine people so that if they're harmful to society, we should confine them. But we should not be punishing people, because the decisions that we make are basically, they're outcomes of processes in our heads. Even if it's a matter of feelings, even if it's just feelings and you don't even understand why, if you don't have clear reasons for why you're doing things, which is oftentimes the case, especially for me, I demonstrate that in every episode in the series. I just do whatever I feel like doing. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing it out of free will. That just means that I'm not even aware of the reasoning behind why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I don't even know what's going on in my brain that led up to those feelings, to having those feelings. It's just... these feelings just arise out of my subconsciousness, and I don't even understand them myself. So there is no freedom. I don't see free will in that. That's not what I would guess free will is referring to. All right, it looks like I'm not going to get around to filling in the crack cave, the crevice. I'm gonna have to save that for next episode. I keep underestimating how long things take in Minecraft. I thought that I was going to be able to get started on the house build in this episode, and I ended up going on for a full episode, for a full 3-day episode. I was going to cut it short today to make up for how long the last one was. But no, I'm glad that I did this, because I'm glad that I took the time to talk about this, to give you guys a good synopsis of what I'm all about, right? But those are probably my two biggest topics. I like to talk about tribe revival, and I like to talk about determinism. And there's much more. Of course, this relates to, there's a lot of, I have a proudly ignorant opinion about freaking everything that I would eventually like to talk to you guys about. But the framework from which I look at the world, so those two things basically define the framework for me, the intellectual framework, the perspective that I look at everything from. Tribe revival and determinism. All right, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more. I have 5 core values that I subscribe to. Now, there's uncertainty. There's leniency, radical leniency, which is an implication of determinism, And then also transparency is the third thing that I subscribe to. And then the more common ones, that liberty and family are the fourth and the fifth, right? And I'll get around to talking about each of those at length and further in the future. But probably not in the next episode. Next episode, I intend to focus on building. It is time, guys. It is time to get started on the starter house. And I'm really looking forward to that. I believe that next episode, since I always underestimate how long things take, it will probably take more than one episode to complete the build. It's probably going to be like 2 or even 3 episodes. Because I always think that I'm going to go fast. I have all of the materials that I'm going to need, but still, I don't know how long it's going to take. And the build I have in mind is pretty small, pretty modest. I would guess that I can do it in 3 days, but knowing me, just knowing what I typically how I typically tend to go about things, I might end up. I hate to rush things, right? So I like to take my time with things. So I might take several episodes, and I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys about these intellectual matters while I'm doing that, because I'm going to need to focus on the building, because that takes a lot of brain power. Okay, I can't multitask very easily. I'm terrible at multitasking. Unless it's like digging dirt or chopping trees, I can't do it. And I have to focus on, like, if I'm exploring caves, that's hard. That takes full attention. If I'm building something in particular, that's going to require my full undivided attention. So but that's going to be next episode. I'll get into the building. For this episode, I really have to bring it to an end, and I don't think I'm going to have a good thumbnail once again. So the algorithm's probably just not even going to notice this video, because it's not a good thumbnail, not a very good title, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with getting very few views on things that aren't particularly appealing to the mass crowd. So if you're here because you're a recurrent viewer, you might be the only one watching this. I'm coming back to having to say that, because the algorithm is very inconsistent in how much it promotes my videos, and perhaps that has something to do with my abysmal click-through ratings. All right, I get like a click-through ratings of like less than 1% on some of these videos, so I can't really blame the algorithm for giving up on trying to promote my videos, if that's the case. This might be it. This might be as good of a thumbnail as I get. But all right, guys, I really have to end the episode now. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and I hope that you enjoyed this conversation, and I really look forward to hearing anything back from you. I really like comments. I encourage people to comment. Please leave me comments. Let me know what you think. I'd really like to talk to you guys about all of this stuff. And with that, I end the episode for today. Shadowlay, my friends. Shadowlay.